The hectic holiday shopping season can put a real strain on the family budget. This year, with an uncertain economy and rising prices, many American consumers say they plan to reduce their spending. According to the 2025 Deloitte Holiday Retail Survey, the average shopper expects to spend about $1,600. That's down 10% from last year. Many say they plan to focus on value and trim seasonal extras. I'm Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man, a contributing editor at Checkbook.org.
Welcome to Consumerpedia at Checkbook.org. We're the nonprofit that helps consumers select services, avoid trouble, and save money. Because we don't accept any advertising or take money from any business we recommend, you can rely on Checkbook.org to be completely independent and objective. Now, here's the host of Consumerpedia, America's consumer expert, the Consumer Man, Herb Weisbaum.
As always, this year's Holiday Helper episode is packed with timely advice to help you find the bargains and avoid the phony sales. Our goal, as always, is to help you make smart choices and hopefully reduce some of your holiday stress. We have two shopping experts joining us today. We start with Edgar Dworsky. He's founder and publisher of ConsumerWorld.org. Hey, Edgar.
Hi, Herb.
Thanks for being with us. I wanted you to be part of this year's Holiday Helper for two reasons. You're a good friend, and you're one of the most frugal people on the planet Earth. And that's a compliment, I think.
I think.
Let's start with a reality check about what shoppers could face this holiday season because of the Trump tariffs.
Well, because of the tariffs, we're going to probably see higher prices, particularly on things that are imported from China. What gets imported from China? Very often toys, holiday decorations. Although I'll tell you, I took a look at both Home Depot and Lowe's for Christmas lights. They're the same price they were last year for the real cheapies.
Is it possible that we may see limited supplies of some things because of the importing from China, where so many of the toys and Christmas decorations come from, and they're just not going to make it over to America?
Well, remember earlier in the year, we had kind of supply delays. So I think that's going to contribute to having fewer items on the shelf. And retailers may just draw the line. If a particular item they normally buy is doubled in price, they know most consumers don't want to pay double the price. So that may also limit what you see on the shelves.
So a lot of shoppers have the strategy, I'm going to wait. And at the end, they've got to reduce the price. But because of the potential for limited availability, this year, if you see something you really want, maybe you'll be smart to buy it and request a refund if the price drops.
I think you may have to shop early this year because supplies could be limited. And that's certainly a good idea. Most big retailers have a price guarantee or a liberal return policy. So if you wind up buying, early in November and then the price goes down toward the end of the month, you may very well be able to get the difference back just by going to the courtesy desk.
Surveys are showing that many Americans are going to try to spend less this holiday season than they did last year. Retailers are certainly anticipating the demand to be dropping a little bit. They're probably going to run a whole bunch of sales to get you into the stores or onto their website. So how do you figure out if you're really getting offered a good deal?
Well, not every sale is a good sale or even a great sale. One of my favorite tools is camelcamel.com. Look up whatever item has been advertised, whether it's on Amazon or not. Look for it on Amazon, copy the URL, then go to camelcamel.com, paste it in there. It will give you the price history of that item at Amazon and also some other retailers over the past year. That way you can evaluate whether the price you see is good, is it great, just by looking at the price history of how the price has varied over the past year.
In the old days, when you and I talked about this, you always told me about the great Black Friday deals you found, but Black Friday isn't what it used to be.
Well, Black Friday is still, in my view, the best sale day of the year, followed pretty closely by Cyber Monday. The trouble is, retailers know the term Black Friday really is a consumer draw. So what we've seen over the past few years are the big retailers, so it's about Target, Walmart, Best Buy, doing these kind of pre-Black Friday sales every week prior to the real Black Friday. So some of those items that you see early in the month of November, you may not see again on the real Black Friday. So it really becomes difficult to decide when is the right time to strike because the goods won't necessarily be repeated again on Black Friday or Cyber Monday.
Going to be a challenge. You know, Checkbook always says if you want the lowest price, you've got to comparison shop, and I know you do this. Would you agree with me that it's a mistake to assume that any one retailer or website will always have the best prices on the gifts you're shopping for?
You absolutely cannot just simply, I'm just going to buy everything at Target, or Walmart always has the best prices, or Amazon is always the lowest. You do have to be a comparison shopper. Just to give you a little analogy, a couple of weeks ago, I did a supermarket price comparison. 2 stores in my area, less than a half mile from each other. I checked 55 items at each store. The total came out less than $1 difference between the two. But when I looked to see which store had the best price on item 1, which had the best price on item 2, and I cherry picked the best items, I could save almost 10% on my grocery bill. So the same thing goes for buying gifts. Look at several retailers to see which one has the best price and shop there.
One thing you need to check before you buy is the return policy. Edgar, you do a survey every year, which will come out in December to let us know what the various retailers are doing. This is especially important if you buy TVs, computers, or other costly electronic items because they have much shorter return windows.
For the past several years, retailers have been what I call slicing and dicing the return policies. Certain categories of goods have a longer period. Other categories like computers or cell phones have a shorter period, or even Apple products may even have the shortest possible period. So don't assume, because I always go to Target or Walmart and they used to have 90-day policies. Don't assume that 90-day policy applies to everything. You got to check. But also keep in mind that many retailers do extended return policies that go into January. So you may be able to buy gifts now, but still have the window open for returns toward the end of January.
So Edgar, any other advice you want to share with us?
You just have to be a comparison shopper, watch your nickels and dimes. And just because you see a big discount, look, 40% off list price. Keep in mind that most stores don't charge list price. So that is a phony discount. See what the real discounts are and shop those.
So before we let you go, when did you start your holiday shopping this year? August?
I shop usually a year in advance in some cases. And I've run out of good ideas for you, so I hope you enjoy your camera from last year.
That's right. When you send me something, it always has the year before's date on it. So.
Exactly. So the return policy has long since expired.
Right. Oh, my goodness. Edgar Dworsky, founder and publisher of Consumer World. Folks, I told you he was frugal. If you want to stay up to date on what's happening in the consumer world, visit his website. It is great, consumerworld.org. Edgar, thanks for being with us, and happy holidays to you.
Thanks, Herb, and happy shopping.
Edgar mentioned being aware of fake sales. There's something to watch out for year-round, but especially as you're racing around doing your holiday shopping. Checkbook just released its latest investigation into fake sales, and executive editor Kevin Rassler will be sharing what we found in the next Consumerpedia episode, so you don't want to miss that one. Straight ahead on this episode, how AI can save you time and money with your holiday shopping, plus some creative ways to spend less on quality items. I'm Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man, and this is Consumerpedia, powered by Checkbook.org.
At Checkbook.org, we have the answers to your consumer questions 24/7. That's Checkbook.org. We're a unique nonprofit that can help you with select local service providers, avoid trouble, and save money. Because we don't accept any advertising or take money from any business we recommend, you can rely on Checkbook to be completely independent and objective. Our advice is always free. Ratings of local services are available with a subscription. If you live in one of these 7 metro areas and haven't joined Checkbook yet, check us out. Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia, Seattle, San Francisco, Minneapolis-St. Paul, and Washington, D.C. Get your free 30-day subscription by going to checkbook.org/consumerpedia.
We have another super shopper with us now, Lisa Lee Freeman, a shopping and consumer expert for many, many years. I first met her back in 2006 when she was the editor-in-chief of Shop Smart magazine from Consumer Reports. Hello, Lisa.
Hey, how you doing, Herb?
Thank you so much for taking part in this. As you know, there's a boatload of tips on how to save money on holiday shopping. Edgar shared some of them, but you have some suggestions that some of our listeners may not be aware of. I know I wasn't. First of all, you want to talk about using AI shopping bots to help you get through this holiday season.
Yeah, more and more of us are using AI for all kinds of stuff. So why not shopping? They're great shopping buddies, these chatbots. Whichever one you use, you could do a lot of things with it to help you not only find products, but also find cheaper products. So for example, let's say you're looking for, I don't know, let's say Birkenstock sandals or a specific type of shoe. You could simply ask for sandals similar to Birkenstocks or a less expensive alternative to an appliance you really want. For example, I've been looking for a cheaper version of this OXO coffee grinder that I've been dying to get. And so I asked AI and it gave me a lot of different options that I can go and research. But that's just scratching the surface.
One of the things that AI is good at is summarizing. Could you ask it to, for instance, summarize all the reviews about a product?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ways to use AI is when you're looking at products, right? All the ratings are like 4.5 stars. The ratings aren't that helpful. You really got to dig down into the user reviews if you want to learn about specific things about the product that you're researching. And so AI is great because you can ask it specifically about a particular product and a particular thing about that product that you're interested in. So you can ask it to summarize reviews for, say, a pair of running sneakers and find out what the reviewers are saying about whether it runs narrow or wide, or how much cushioning it has. I'm really into fountain pens, and I compared 2 different fountain pens that I wanted to buy, and it said one of them didn't feather as much as the other one, and that actually helped me decide which one to buy. It was a better value on top of that. But I definitely think when you do use AI, sometimes it does what they call hallucinating, which means you may not get the most accurate information every single time. And so if you're concerned about that, verify the information that you get and also check URLs to make sure that they're the correct URLs. So if you click directly through on a link, just make sure that you're on the right website. So it's the brand that you're looking for, not maybe some scam website.
Yeah, that would be my biggest concern with using AI. It scrapes everything from the web. It could be sending you to a scammer's website, a fake Nordstrom or a fake Amazon site or something. So if I saw the great deal, I'd probably just put in the URL myself and be sure as opposed to using something the AI came out with.
I think you do have to be careful with AI and definitely double check and make sure that the information that it's giving you is correct. But I think for the most part, it's a great way to start your research, and it's a great way to save money and find products very quickly that you're looking for.
So I understand you use visual search when you're at the store. I have no idea what that is, so explain.
Okay. Well, this is one of my favorite ways to shop and save money. I like to shop in TJ Maxx, and sometimes I'll find a product, say a toaster, and I'm wondering if that's the best deal on that toaster. So I take a picture. Actually, there's a little camera icon in the search bar on Google, on Amazon, on eBay, and other sites that offer visual search. You click on the camera icon, you take a picture of the product, and up will pop a bunch of different options. It'll show you how much that product is at all different stores. It might even show you also alternatives to that product that are similar that might save you money. And they also let you add words to the search bar. So you have the picture and then you have words. You could add like the brand, for example, if you know the brand, and that'll help you triangulate that product even better. So it's really cool. It's a way to find just about anything. If you're not already using this, you're going to be obsessed with it when you start using it.
Lisa Lee, I know you're a big believer in buying refurbished products because you can save a ton of money and it's environmentally friendly. And just so everyone knows what we're talking about, a refurbished item is something that was returned, inspected, repaired, and restored to full working condition by the manufacturer or qualified seller. And because of this, it typically comes with the original warranty.
The market for pre-owned products is exploding. Many manufacturers are now offering refurbished products. My husband just bought a KitchenAid mixer that was refurbished directly from KitchenAid, and it was in perfect condition, and it was half the price. I've also purchased speakers, a television set. I've purchased so many products used. I've never had a bad experience, and I think the key is to buy from a reputable seller, ideally from the manufacturer, like Apple, KitchenAid, All the major retailers offer refurbished electronics that are certified refurbished. So that's another thing you could look for. Amazon has a program, Amazon Refurbished. eBay does it too. I've purchased refurbished electronics on Best Buy, Amazon, Walmart, Target. They all offer these products. As long as you look at the quality and make sure they're certified refurbished and you make sure that you have a pretty good return policy, you're in good shape. I've never had a bad experience.
And you like marketplaces, online shops where people make the items themselves. I guess we're thinking like Etsy, that sort of thing?
Yeah, Etsy and Amazon Handmade. And of course, eBay sells a lot of products that are handmade or made by very small businesses. Cratejoy is another website to check out. I've purchased all kinds of great gifts from these sites, and they're very reasonable, the prices. I've purchased household basics like glassware, holiday decorations, office supplies. And for gifts, I've purchased sweaters, gloves, leather goods, all kinds of stuff, ceramic mugs. They're unique products and the prices are often very good. I think the key with these they're called maker marketplaces, is you want to make sure to read seller reviews. Look at the shipping information and the return policy as well, because these are small sellers, so they're going to be different than, say, a policy on Amazon or Walmart.
Finally, realizing that there may be less inventory for some products as well as higher prices, anything that you plan to do differently this year?
Yeah, my battle plan is to shop early. I have a list. I think it's very important to have a specific list with model numbers and everything that you want to buy. And I'm going to be waiting for Black Friday. But, if there's something that you've got your heart set on or your child has their heart set on as a gift, you definitely probably want to start shopping right now because inventory, yes, levels may not be what they have been in the past due to tariffs and issues going on with trade. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is using my cashback credit cards and cashback apps like Rakuten. It's great to get a check in the mail for shopping. So those are fun. And also, I'm going to continue to buy refurbs. I've purchased refurb items for gifts and they're great. I think there's just a growing acceptance of buying used. It's environmentally friendly, it saves you money, and the products really look great. I mean, as long as you buy the right ones that are in good condition. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is shopping on maker marketplaces because it supports small businesses and actually you can get unique products that you're not going to see everywhere else for people on your list. And I think that's really great when you could buy something special and unique that's also reasonably priced and you're supporting a small business.
Lisa Lee Freeman. Lisa, it's always great talking to you. Thank you for helping us shop smarter. Happy shopping.
Thank you. You too.
So here's a question for you. How are you going to pay for all this stuff? Debit, credit, cash, buy now, pay later? Up next, the pros and cons of these various payment options. I'm Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man, and this is Consumerpedia, powered by Checkbook.org.
Consumerpedia Fast Facts. Here are some key findings from a recently released YouGov survey. 53% of Americans bought holiday gifts last year. 60% of baby boomers did. Boomers are also the biggest spenders, with 12% spending $1,000 or more in 2024. 79% of shoppers actively look for holiday discounts when buying gifts. Despite the rise of e-commerce, in-store shopping remained the dominant method for holiday purchases last year, with 59% of Americans buying gifts in physical stores. And here's a real surprise. Gift cards are given by 39%, but only 10% actually want to receive them.
This year's holiday shopping season is going to be financially stressful for many American families. 41% of the shoppers surveyed by Bankrate.com said they're concerned that holiday gifts will be more expensive this year. 30% said they expect to spend less this year than last. Many have made plans to deal with the higher prices resulting from the Trump tariffs. Others are just going to spend now and deal with that debt later. Here to discuss all this, a good friend of the podcast, Bankrate Senior Industry Analyst, Ted Rossman.
Hey, good to be here. Thank you.
Your early holiday shopping survey shows that people realize prices are up and they're worried about that.
For sure. Yeah, the bark has been worse than the bite so far with respect to tariffs. That's really the latest thing that's caused consumer sentiment to plummet. We know people have been worried about inflation and a high cost of living for years, but all this tariff talk has really ratcheted up the concerns heading into the holiday shopping season. To be fair, prices haven't budged as much as we thought they would. Retailers have absorbed some of the hikes into their margins. Many of them ordered merchandise extra early and stocked up before the holidays. But people are still worried. The cumulative effect is still significant. It's not that prices have run away with us in the past few months, but over the past few years, that's where we see a 25% jump since the start of 2021.
So how do people plan to pay for what they buy? Well, 1 in 4 holiday shoppers said they plan to take on debt by using a credit card and paying off the bill over time, or taking out a buy now, pay later loan. So Ted, let's talk about both of these options separately. First of all, using a credit card knowing that you're not going to be able to pay off the bills.
And really, I think the toll will actually be higher just because half of credit card holders already carry debt from month to month. So directly or indirectly, people are going to be adding to that. Not to shame people or say you can't have any fun, but let's face it, the average credit card charges 20%. The average store card charges 30%. You don't want to still be paying off this Christmas a year from now. It's really important to use this time to your advantage. One lever people are pulling is starting the holiday shopping season earlier. Half of holiday shoppers are beginning before the end of October. That's actually a really good way to spread out your cash flow and limit the impact. You can set a budget, you can set a gift list. I would also look to other ways to avoid credit card debt. Maybe a 0% balance transfer card, maybe buying fewer gifts and having that conversation and expectation setting with family and friends. Maybe if you're crafty, you can make something instead of paying full price at the store, looking to stack discounts, combining store promos with a rewards credit card that you pay off, with an online shopping portal, with card-linked offers like Amex offers. The main point is, let's figure out some ways to save so that we're not carrying a whole bunch of debt into the new year.
You mentioned that a lot of people are starting earlier, some as early as August, but this is airing in November. There's still time. There's still plenty of time to not do everything at that last-minute craziness time.
There is still time, and we should note that it's really turned into a season of deals. You don't have to wait until Black Friday anymore. That is still a big day on the retail calendar, but it's not quite the Super Bowl of retail that it was even a few years ago. A lot of people are starting in October. The sales are lasting through November, through December. That's good news for consumers. It is a buyer's market. The deals are going to be good this year because retailers are meeting consumers where they are, which is that they're a little nervous. And the economy's doing okay, but there's mixed signals. The job market's been weakening. People are in a pretty frugal mood. So to get them off the fence, retailers are offering discounts. You can use that to your advantage, especially when you combine it with other saving strategies like those card-linked offers and online shopping portals and rewards cards and things like that.
Something you mentioned, and I want to go back because it went by very quickly. The average interest rate on retail credit cards, those are store cards you get from Macy's or Nordstrom or the jeweler, Zales or one of those, is 30%. You'd be paying 30% interest on an unpaid balance, right?
That's right. It's just astronomically high. And it is a good point to underscore here heading into the holidays because the fourth quarter is when most of these signups take place. It makes sense. People are shopping. They want to save money. You get the hard sell at the counter. They say, oh, do you want to save 20 or 30% on today's purchase? Get our credit card. Sometimes people don't even realize it's a credit card. They just hear, ooh, savings, great. Maybe they think it's a store loyalty program or coupon or something. They might not even realize amidst the hustle and bustle what they're signing up for. Don't save a little bit now to pay a lot more in the future. These cards have really high interest rates. Those deferred interest offers are nasty too, where maybe they say no interest for a year, but when it's framed as deferred interest, which a lot of store cards do, that means if you don't pay the full amount by the time the clock runs out, well, then they go back and they charge you retroactively for all of the interest that would have accumulated. There are a lot of gotchas with store cards. You really have to be careful at the checkout counter.
And if you know what the deal is and you're going to buy something big and going to get 20% off and you know you can pay that bill as soon as you get it, then it makes sense. Otherwise, it doesn't. Leave it alone.
Exactly. There are two times that it makes sense. One is if you get a big discount off an initial purchase and that's a meaningful amount and you can pay it off before interest hits. Yes, that can make sense. The other time is if you're loyal to the store. There are retailers like Amazon and Target and Best Buy and others that give 5% back when you use their card at their store. And that's probably better than you would get on most, if not all, other credit cards. The key again, though, is pay in full to avoid interest. Don't get 5% back if you're paying 30% for the privilege.
So based on your survey, most people are going to use credit or debit cards. Buy now, pay later is growing in popularity, but it's still less than those two. But people think that buy now, pay later is not getting into debt. They're not taking out a loan. They absolutely are getting into debt and taking out a loan.
It is still debt, absolutely. And you need to be careful because these plans are changing. Many of them are lasting longer, so it's not just the classic 4 interest-free payments over 6 weeks anymore. Some of these are lasting 6 months or a year or sometimes even longer than that. Anything longer than 6 weeks usually has an interest rate. And ironically, for an industry that's portrayed itself as kind of the anti-credit card, those rates are pretty credit card-like. A lot of times it's 15 or 20%, sometimes even higher. You may feel like it's $20 here, $50 there, $100 there. Buy now, pay later can add up. Sometimes people are not used to the biweekly installments either. We get used to paying things on a monthly basis, so it comes at you fast. And really the biggest danger here is overspending and just impulse buying and loan stacking, and all of a sudden it can be a little bit of a trap.
Yeah. As we've discussed before, using a credit card wisely, spending what you can afford and paying the bill in full when you get it is a smart way to shop. You get rewards if you have a rewards card, and you can certainly get more consumer protection than you would with debit cards or buy now, pay later loans. I think that's something people have to understand, that a credit card is not bad if used wisely.
There's that industry saying that credit cards are like power tools. They can be really useful or dangerous. It's all about how you use them. It's roughly half and half in terms of cardholders who carry debt and those who pay it off right away. There are some great retail perks associated with credit cards. Rewards are an obvious one, but some of the less obvious ones are purchase protection. That actually saved my family $300 once when my wife broke an Apple Watch soon after buying it. The credit card company replaced it based on that purchase protection. There's extended warranty coverage. There's travel insurance. Credit cards have a lot to like. They just have one big drawback, and it's a big one. It's that interest rate. But if you can pay in full, cards are the better way to go.
So as we both know, some people find that paying with cash or with a debit card helps them limit their spending. So nothing wrong with that if that's really the way you're designed when it comes to money, right?
Using debit can be smart if it keeps you on budget and keeps you out of debt. I would say ideally, though, if you can get to a place where you're using a credit card like a debit card, that's the best of both worlds. So I'm talking about paying in full, avoiding interest. There are a lot of nice extras. Just don't pay interest. At the end of the day, a lot of this comes back to knowing yourself, making a plan. Don't do it on impulse. And the holidays are a busy time of year, so sometimes you need to take a breath, take a step back, just make sure that you're setting yourself up for success.
And if there's anyone listening and you find yourself dealing with debt you can't handle, talk to a nonprofit credit counselor who can help get you back on track before things get way out of hand. Visit the National Foundation for Credit Counseling website, nfcc.org, to find a certified nonprofit counselor who can work with you. nfcc.org. Ted Rossman is a senior industry analyst at Bankrate.com. You will find a ton of personal finance advice on their website, Bankrate.com. Ted, thanks so much for talking to us, and happy shopping, my friend.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Before we go, a couple of other Consumerpedia podcasts you might want to check out. Number 92, Thrift Store Shopping Advice. 90, Buy Now, Pay Later. And number 85, Too Much, How We're Encouraged to Buy. And with that, we're out of time. We hope you'll rate this episode. It's really helpful. And follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Remember, we release new episodes every other Thursday. Another way you can support this show is to follow us at Consumerpedia on Facebook and Instagram, at consumerpedia.org on Blue Sky, and at My Consumerpedia on X. You can find me at consumerman.com. I'm Herb Weisbaum, always looking out for you. Until next time, be smart and shop wisely.
Consumerpedia is a public service of Checkbook.org. We're a unique nonprofit that helps you save money and make smarter choices. You can count on Checkbook to help you find the best services and avoid the worst, with local ratings that are accurate and unbiased. If you live in or around these 7 cities and haven't joined Checkbook yet, check us out. Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia, Minneapolis-St. Paul, Seattle, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. To get your free 30-day subscription, go to checkbook.org/Consumerpedia. Consumerpedia, empowering consumers to save money and make smarter choices.